Your boy E-Buck here. This is Speaking Freely. We run it behind, so no bells and whistles this week. Just straight to the show. Here's your host, Miss Road.
What's been good, everybody? Welcome to the show. Tonight, we gonna talk about long term. We gonna talk about affairs. We ain't gonna just say long term. We just gonna talk about affairs. We're also gonna talk about being baby mamas. But before we get into that, the first topic we gonna talk about is this long term affair. So I came across this story of a pastor of a church who's been in a long term affair for 12 years with his assistant with his assistant deacon or whatever you want to call it for 12 years. And his wife never knew. For 12 years he's had an affair. A long-term affair for 12 years. So I saw that. I said, I gotta talk about that. Because what's the purpose of getting married if you're gonna go and have an affair on the person you marry? This can go either way. Man having an affair on her husband, a man having an affair on his wife, a wife having an affair on her husband. What's the point of getting married if you're going to have the affair? So I'm gonna pull up. I'm gonna pull up the story and read it to y'all. Y'all gonna be like, 12-year affair? Yep, a 12-year affair. This don't make no sense. And then you say adultery is a sin, but you a pastor preaching preaching about adultery and all this thing, fornication, all that as a sin, but you having an affair, a long term affair. To me, that don't make sense. To me, that don't make no sense. Right now, I haven't been to church in a minute. Well, it's been a while since I've been to church, but I've been to church where the pastor talks about, adultery, but for you, the pastor yourself, to do it and then want to preach about it to make the people in your congregation feel guilty, nah, I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't like the pastor making the people in his congregation feeling guilty, and he's doing it himself. Right? To me, that's crazy. I'm trying to pull up the story here, but just think about this. You, for those who are married, just think about this. Your husband or your wife, secretly behind your back, is having an affair with someone and has been going on for 12 years. Now, you the first lady of the church. I'm not in this story. She's the wife is the first lady of the church if he's the pastor, right? But if for those who are not pastors of the church, right? You start to think like, my mate's been coming home late. They've been telling me they working late, or after work they hung out with some coworkers, or say they was hanging out with friends, you know. And then it makes you think like, were they really hanging out with coworkers, really hanging out with friends, or were they out with the person they've been cheating on me with for this long? You know what I'm saying? Like there's no point in getting married if you know you can't be faithful. What's good, Hugh? There's no point in getting married when you know you can't be faithful. What you going when she finds out? What you gonna tell her? I love you. I didn't mean for this to happen. It just happened. Cheating on someone don't just happen because you for you to be in a long term affair with someone for 12 years. There was some feelings there between you and the person you had an affair with. This could be a woman or a man that when your mate gets on your nerves, that's the person you go talk to get some advice, and y'all wind up getting close because of it. Yep. Like to me that I'm to me I'm like for all of that you just need to let me go. That's how I see it. Just let me go. Let me go. Right? Just let me go. Can't hear you, E. Can't hear you.
Long term affairs. You hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. First and foremost, if you are involved in church, supposed to be a Christian person, and you are committing adultery in any way, shape, or form, somebody that is not your uppity wedded wife, that's wrong off rip. That's just a
Mm-hmm.
given. I don't care if it was one time, 500 times, 1,000 times. That's a bad dude. In terms of the long term, I don't understand why people can't at some point realize, okay, I'm still dealing with this person and this person. The other person usually know what's going on, but the person you initially cheat on does not. Why can't you at some point just be like, look, this just ain't working for me. I kind of like you. I kind of want to be with you, but I kind of want to deal with other folks too. In this day and age of 2026, why we can't just have an open and honest discussion about it? I don't get it.
So yeah, I agree with you, E. So the reason why I brought up this topic is because it came across my feed on Facebook. A friend of mine posted, like I said, the man's a pastor, been in a 12-year long affair. But when I read you this story about this man, you know how somebody say, oh, a woman would say, I'm doing a one woman show, and this is gonna be a story about my life. It's a one woman show, but it's a story about my life. You've heard people say that. You heard. Remember, Mike Tyson did it. Mike Tyson did a one man show where he did a story about his life. Well, when I read this story to y'all, that's what he's doing. This pastor is doing a one man show telling his story. And that's how you find out about the 12-year affair he's been having. Like I said, if you gonna do all of that, you shouldn't have got married. Shouldn't have never got married. You know, you made a commitment in front of your family, your friends, in front of God, that you're gonna love this lady to death do you part. And this is what it says that was posted. It says Brian Meadows is opening up about why he chose to perform his one man show following the news about his 12-year affair with the church's associate pastor. So the person he's cheating with is also a pastor. I thought she was a deacon, but she's also a pastor. It says, responding to quiz, he wrote, why you doing a one man show? Because my assignment isn't incarcerated by your expectations of a preacher. Ministry is my artistry, and I'm called to paint outside the pulpit. April 18th, the evolution will be televised, and I want you in the room. In a separate post, he emphasized that he is more than just a preacher, but also an artist, actor, filmmaker, and storyteller. Says, I'm bringing all of it to the stage. Good grief isn't a sermon, it's an experience. It's the story of what it really costs to say yes to God. The private sacrifices, the unseen battles, and the parts nobody claps for. So so this is why he said he's doing a one-man show, to tell his story and to tell y'all about the 12-year long affair he was having. Now, a friend of mine posted this, but the original post has the actual video of the one man show of him telling his story. And when I saw that it said a 12-year long affair with the associate pastor, so you the associate pastor, I'm the first lady. Every time I come to church, you in my face, knowing that you are sleeping with my husband. Every time that he's on the stage giving his sermon, you sitting in the chair next to his every time. If something comes up that my husband can't preach the sermon for Sunday, you the one that fills in. Let's say he's sick, but I still come to church where he's sick, but he's not that sick to where I need to stay home from church. And you're preaching a sermon about adultery and all that stuff, but you've been having a 12-year long affair with my husband, and I'm the first lady, and I don't know, and all this time I'm sitting in church being the first lady, and you just in my face with a secret of you being with my husband. That's bold. That's bold. That's bold of you, the both of you, because I'm sure she's probably got them calls to say he's gonna be staying late at church, or he's telling her there's a church meeting because she don't have to be there. It's just the deacons and the pastors getting together. She don't have to be there, right? And so, being that she don't have to be there, that's his excuse of getting with the associate pastor. Like, he's saying there's a long meeting at church. This is what we're gonna be discussing. He's telling her a whole lot of things. But 12 years as a woman, not as I'm not as the pastor, associate pastor, but as a woman, to have a 12-year long affair with a man who you're never gonna have. To have a 12-year long affair with a man you're never gonna have is crazy. It is crazy. I get it if you meet a man and he's separated from his wife and y'all hit it off and y'all getting to know each other. I get that. But when you're in the face of his wife every time in church and you gotta feel guilt. You gotta feel some kind of guilt. You can't tell me that you being an associate pastor and having this affair that God is okay with it. I can say God doesn't love you anymore because you're doing this, but you, as a pastor, you gotta say yourself, God is okay with me having this affair. And, and what if within this 12-year affair, she has a child by the pastor, the associate pastor has a child by the pastor? Now, not only do I gotta look in your face, now I gotta look in the kid's face who look just like my husband that I didn't give birth to. I'm supposed to accept that as the first lady of the church? I'm supposed to accept that as your wife? No, if things were falling apart in our relationship, something should have been said so that we can fix what's falling apart. Not you go and be with the associate pastor instead of fixing what's falling apart. You you stood up in front of a whole church full of people and said, "Till death do us part." You said that. You read some vows that protest your love from me, and now all of a sudden, I'm finding out because of your one man show that you was having a 12-year long affair with the associate pastor. If I don't know if they have kids because it doesn't say that when reading the article. But let's say they did. You know how embarrassing that is for your kids? You know how embarrassing it is for the kids? You ain't think about that, right? Not only am I embarrassed as the first lady, just finding this out, you embarrass your kids. Because what if the associate pastor did have a baby by him? And our kids are playing together, but they really brother and sister or brother and brother. Like, really? Like, once you realize the love wasn't there anymore, because you can't tell me that you still love me even though you had a 12 long year affair. You can't. You can't. You can't tell me you still love me. See, this is when the first lady should pack up and go, but there's some women who are dependent on a man that they just can't pack up and go because even though she's the first lady of the church because he's the pastor, besides the church, she may not have an outside job. She may have been a stay-at-home mom. He may have told her, "You don't have to work, I'll take care of you." And so she could be one of them, not saying she's one of those women, but when you think about it, she could be one of them women who don't have any skills to get a job because she was so dependent on this man. He's telling her he's going to take care of her. She don't have to work. And she did exactly what he said. She didn't work, took care of the house like he wanted her to. She was raising the kids. So anything financially she needed to be taken care of, he took care of that by giving her the money. The rent needed to be paid, mortgage, he gave her that money to make sure all that stuff was paid for. Grocery shopping, he gave her money so they can go grocery shopping. And at 12, 12 years is a long time. There's some y'all caught feelings. You and the associate pastor caught feelings for each other. And instead of you ending it with your wife so you can be with the associate pastor, you just said, "Nah, let's just have an affair." And the associate pastor agreed with you. And y'all been doing it for 12 years without your wife knowing. Do you don't understand how embarrassing it is to be a child of the pastor and the first lady and people coming up to you about an affair your dad done had that you didn't know nothing about. But people are coming up to you about their affair. You know what I'm saying? That ain't you don't that ain't good to bring that up to a child. Unless if they grown, then that's a different story. But if they little kids, you don't bring that up to a little kid. And then to think, let's just say one of the people you play with at school, let's say it's the first lady, not the first lady, I mean the social pastor's child. That person, if it's a girl or a boy, could be your brother or sister. It could be your brother or sister. Here's another story I got for y'all. And I just saw this story earlier. This also has to do with affairs. So this woman was in a relationship. At the time she was in this relationship, she got her side dude. I guess her man wasn't doing her doing her good. She got her side dude, right? And they've been messing around while she's with this dude. Then they something happened where they fell apart. The side dude and the chick. He found out she was pregnant. He asked her, was it his? She never gave him was it his or the guy she was seeing. She never gave him any type of response about that. So forward to current times, her son is now 20. His daughter's around the same age as the son. They 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 are dating each other. The lady's son that this man was her side dude and his daughter are dating each other. And she was like, Dad, I want you to meet my boyfriend. We've been dating for a year. I want you to meet my boyfriend. He said when he met the dude, he didn't mention nothing about knowing his mother. When he met the dude, she brought him over to the house. He met the dude. He said, so, he asked him about his family. Dude pulled up pictures. And when he showed the picture, he pointed out which one of the ladies in the picture was his mother. He realized this was a woman he was with 20 years ago, being her side dude. And she was his side piece because he was in a relationship as well. That's what he said in the video. So he was like, he knew how to get in contact with her. So he calls her on the phone. And she's like, why are you calling me? It's been 20 years. Why are you calling me? And then he explained to her that his daughter said, I want to introduce you to my boyfriend I've been dating for a year. And he explained to her that when he met him, he showed the picture and he saw her in the picture that she was his mother. And I got him to thinking back 20 years ago when she said she was pregnant, but she never said if it was his or the guy she was seeing. And she stayed with the guy and wound up becoming his wife. So he said to her, he said, I don't know what you got to do, but somehow you're going to have to. He doesn't know that I know you. My daughter knows the truth. He said he told his daughter the truth that she needs to stop seeing dude because he could potentially be her brother. And when he was on the phone with the girl, she said, well, are they, she asked, were they having sex? And he said, well, they've been together for a year. So, by now they are. And that's when she was like, oh my God. She was like, oh my God. So he said, you're going to have to do something, find a way to get a DNA test done because I don't want because just in case this is my son, my daughter will be, technically my daughter's dating her brother. That don't, I don't, that can't. So that's crazy with these people having these affairs on the, cheating on the person they with, having these affairs and children result out of it. So I get it. You and your mate is going through something. Talk it out. The first thing you should do is talk it out. And if it's talking about it, trying to fix the problem, if it ain't working, then end the relationship. Don't stick around. Don't go marrying the person knowing it ain't working. that it ain't working, and don't go behind their back to be with somebody else. Don't do that. Because you wonder why most men and women are bitter when it comes to relationships, because somebody went behind their back, did them dirty, and it hurt them to the core to where they have trust issues. You understand what I'm saying? It hurt them to the core to the point they have trust issues. And that's why when they try to get with somebody new, it don't work out because they haven't gotten over the past relationship. Most women, when they get hurt, they always assume the new guy is going to be like the old guy. And 9 out of 10 is not that. It's the fact that you never got over what the old one did to you. So you assume that the new one is going to be just like that. Not every man is like that. There are good men out there. You know what I'm saying? If Tom did you dirty, you can't. If Tom did you dirty, you can't think Bill is going to be the same. When you truly get to know Bill, you're going to realize he's not like Tom. But if you already have it set in your mind, he's like Tom, it's not going to work out. And the same thing, if Stacy did you dirty, if you don't get to know Kim, you you're gonna always assume Kim is like Stacy when they're two different people. They are two different people. Kim and Stacy is not the same. Tom and Bill is not the same. So when you get into a new relationship, really get to know that person so you know that they're not like your last. Because you having that stuck in your head, you have it stuck in your head that the new was like the last, it's never going to work out. What up, Coach V? It's never going to work out. So yeah, if if you're not sure you love someone, don't tell them you love them. Don't tell me you love me if you're not sure you really love me. You understand? Don't do that because someone's going to get hurt in the long run. And that someone could be me, you know, and I'm not looking to be with someone who's out to hurt. If I'm showing you love, I need you to show love back. If there are some people who get in relationships don't know what love is. Yep, there's some people who get in relationships that don't know what love is. Learn what love is. If you never had real love, learn what love is. Because then you can distinct from what's not real and what's real. You can tell the difference. Because there are some men who get with women and they tell them they love them because they only want one thing. And then they get that one thing and then they don't want to be with that person no more. After she done fell. Women do it too. Women tell men they love them. But my thing is, if all you want is sex, just say that's all you want. Don't make it seem like you want a relationship when you really don't. Don't do that. Please don't do that. Well, that is it talking about long-term affairs period. We're going to take a commercial break. And when we get into this next topic we're going to get into after this commercial break is about bitter baby mamas. And how I came up, well, a friend of mine is going, a friend of mine's son is going through this situation. He was with a girl, he was with a girl for a while. The relationship was going great. they wound up having the baby. I don't know what happened to where the relationship started crumbling, but now she's being a bitter baby mama where she's not letting him see his child. The family, not even the family. So the mother, his mother, him, the sister, which is the aunt, they can't see the baby. So anybody on his side of the family, they can't see the baby. All because they didn't work out. He's probably done moved on, and she's still holding on to something that's never gonna mend itself, come back. Some people, say if it's meant to be, they'll come back to you. Well, in this case, I don't think he's coming back. But I've seen pictures where being a loving dad to his child. She's being a loving grandmother, sister's being a loving aunt. But because they didn't work out, the baby's being used, being put in the middle. So like I said, we're gonna take that commercial break. Then we're gonna get into bitter baby mamas on Speaking Freely with MsGigo. And before we, okay, I forgot to mention before we get to the topic, I'm gonna play a song that I have written about this subject. So let's get into that commercial.
Hey, this is your boy Ebook. And if you're looking for some great desserts, something sweet, something to treat yourself with, please check out my girl Caramel Sweets here in the Metro Detroit area. She can make desserts for your function, your event, or just for that special someone you want to give something nice to. So check her out. It's Caramel Sweets. You can find her on Facebook and Instagram. We appreciate you. All right, one last commercial, live read before we head back to the show. Once again, tomorrow I feel inclined to do a episode of my new show, Get Off My New Lawn. A couple things I want to talk about on Monday's show. One of them includes this thing known as Teen Takeover. I want to give you my takes on that. I've talked to both teens and adults alike about it. I kind of want to get y'all opinions on some of what I've learned, some of what you're thinking on that subject. Also, want to talk about, are we not caring enough about what's going on with the Iran situation? I feel like we should have a little discussion about that as well. And my third topic is going to be about, is justice always just? I will explain that one on Monday. Again, that's the show Get Off My New Lawn. It will be airing at 9 on these networks. Now back to the show, Speaking Freely. Here's your host, Miss Gigo.
So, yeah, everybody, we're gonna get to the topic bitter baby mama. And I'm sure for those of you who have kids, I wouldn't. Not everybody has a bitter baby mama, but for those that had a bitter baby mama, this song. We're gonna play the song and then we're gonna get into the topic. This song I wrote a few days ago because when I saw my friend's post about her son not being able to see his daughter and that she couldn't see her grandchild and that her daughter couldn't see her niece, all because they no longer together. He done moved on. Not saying he got in a new relationship, but he done moved on. So it's like she's bitter because they're no longer together. So she's hurt. So how she hurt him, for him to feel the same hurt she's feeling, keeping his child away. You know, she's love you too, Coach V. Um, so she's keeping his child away from him. Nothing hurts a man more than especially a good man when you keep him away from his child. Or a good man finding out the child was never his in the first place. That hurts. To be with a woman, and to find out that the child she was having was never really yours. But in this case, the baby looked just like the father, so I know it's his kid. But in this case, she's bitter. And so when I'm scrolling through and she's sharing photos of him with his daughter, her with the daughter, the sister with the daughter, and then she's, saying, it's not right that you keeping the baby away. And it's only to his side of the family. So it got me to thinking. I said, you know what? I'm gonna write a song about this, about bitter baby mamas. I didn't title it "Bitter Baby Mama." I just titled it "Bitter." But in the song, you will hear me say "bitter." In the song, you will hear the person singing it say "Bitter Baby Mama." So if you could play the song, and then we could get into the topic.
We were together for a while, but before we let it go, we had our precious baby. We tried to work it out, but the foundation kept crumbling, and now here we are fighting about when I can see my baby. You were the one for me, but now you're my bitter baby mama. Please let me see my kid. Yeah. You ain't gonna turn me into a deadbeat father. I wanna be there for my kid. So stop being a bitter baby mama. No, just cause we didn't work out doesn't mean I would neglect my kid. The only reason why you're bitter is because you can't have me no more. And now our child is suffering, all because you wanna be a bitter baby mama. Oh, yeah. You were the one for me, but now you're my bitter baby mama. Please let me see my kid. Oh, you ain't gonna you still make the effort to be a daddy to your kid. I salute you, kid. You are the one for me. For me. Now you're my bitter baby mama. Please let me see my kid. You, yeah. You are the one turn me. You ain't gonna turn me into a deadbeat father. I'm gonna be there for my kid. So stop being a bitter baby mama. I'm no deadbeat. I just wanna be a father. Stop being a bitter baby mama. Our baby needs to know who I am.
That is a song called Better by MsG. And hearing my friend's story, that made me come up with that song, made me write that song. And there are a lot of men, good men out there, who want just all they want is to be a father to their child, but these women that they are no longer with won't let them. Right? I seen a clip of a court case, right? And they're in court, and the woman says, "Oh, the reason why I don't let him see his child is because he's abusive." Right? She said he was abusive to her. That's why that's one of the reasons why she's not letting him see his child. So the judge asked, asked her to explain. She said, "Well, when we were together, he put his hands on me." I Okay, I get that. Sometimes it happens in relationships where a man might be pushed to the point he put his hands on the woman, right? So when the judge asked, "How old is the child?" they said the child was 13, 12, 13. And he said that the daughter has a phone, but it's not a fully functioning phone. It's like, you get a prepaid phone, you got to pay for your minutes. You can't, depending on the type of phone you have, you can only make calls. So the mother's controlling everything, right? This is why the child can't see the mother's control. So the daughter can't call because of the type of phone access she has. She can't call him. The mother says she's blocked the father's number. So she's blocking the child is 12, 13. She can make her own decisions if she want to see the father or not. You know, Hughes says a bitter baby mamas can make a man's life a living nightmare. Yes, she can, because especially when you have a custody case, the judge, so most of the time, the judge rules in the favor of the mother, right? Most of the time, the judge rules in the favor of the mother. So when the mother got the judge on the side, so in this case, so she's, the judge is asking the woman questions like why he can't see his child, and she's giving these reasons, but it's stuff that he's done to her. He hasn't done anything to the child. He hasn't done anything to the child for her to say, "Oh, you can't see your child." Whatever happened in the relationship between you and him, that's between you and him. It has nothing to do with his relationship with his child. The man just want to be a father. So you think because how he treated you, he gonna treat his child the same way? If he didn't want to be a father, he wouldn't be in court going back and forth with you just to see his child. And that I'm like, here's another thing about a better baby mama. And then a third clip I saw, like the girl and the guy was together. They broke up. She wound up pregnant. She's another one. Won't let him see the baby. So her new man, which is at the time, which was her man, who's now her husband, was there at the hospital when she had the baby. He no longer lives in the same town as her. He lives like maybe about 45 minutes away from her. The guy she's married to now, but at the time when she was pregnant, he was her boyfriend. He's claiming the child like it's as his own. Because it could be his or it could be the other guy's. And they in paternity court. And he's like, she's not letting me, she's not letting me see the. He's in court crying. She's not letting me see the kid. And the guy who's her husband now is in court like, that's my child. That's my child. No, you're not gonna see. And whatever issues they had when they were dating, she brought that up in court to make him out to be this bad person. And all he wants is to know, one, that the child is his, and if it is his, he wants to be a father. I've watched paternity court many a times where there was men in that courtroom not wanting to be the father of the woman who brought them to court's baby. There was a man who was married, had his wife there with him, and he was like, he didn't want to be the father. He tried to throw it out there that she was promiscuous. He was the only one she was sleeping with. And then when the paternity test came back, it proved he was the father. The wife is throwing, like, if it was a boxing match, the wife was throwing jabs. If it was a boxing match, the wife was throwing jabs. And she was trying to defend her husband. But once that paternity test, once you take a paternity test, you can't. If the results say you are the father, it, there's no faking paternity test results. There's no faking that, especially when it's done by professionals. If you're doing an at-home test, yes, those could be faulty sometimes. So you need to have it done by a professional. But in these cases, these women were acting, like better baby mamas because I get it. You get in a relationship with somebody, things happen in the relationship, and in that midst of while y'all in the relationship, you wind up pregnant, and then it don't work out after that. But that shouldn't, because it didn't work out, shouldn't stop you from letting this man be a father to his child. Let these men that want to be fathers to their child. You see these women taking these men to court because they got money for a certain amount in child support. Child support is for the child, but a lot of these women are taking these men to court because they want more child support because they want to spend it on not just the child but on themselves as well. So yeah, my friend's story got me to writing that song, and it's like you gotta understand you're not hurting him. The one you're hurting the most is your child. Because if your child is an infant, they don't know. They're learning. They're learning who their parents are. When you're an infant, you're learning the person you see all the time. You're learning who they are. Because as you get older, that's mommy, and the male figure you see, if they're together, that's daddy. No, oh no, she wasn't. He was the. She wasn't. He just said that in court to make. He wanted the people in court to think that of her. She was with him for a while. They was messing around for a while, and the paternity test proved he was the father. So, yeah, the paternity test proved he was the father. So that throwing it out there that she's promiscuous, where the paternity test just proved you the father. So that tells you right there she was a promiscuous if you the father. But in my friends, like I say, in my friend's case, because him and the girl was together for a while, because she would post, pictures, and you know when your child is dating someone and you like them, you say, "Oh, this is my daughter." You go, "This is my daughter," because we do that. We say, "Oh, this is my daughter." The person that your child is dating saying, "This is my daughter. That's my son." Yep. So she liked the girl her son was dating. They wound up having the baby. I don't know what happened to where the friction came in to where they broke up, but he done moved on. Even if he's not in a new relationship, just moving on with life, period. The fact that he's not with her, she's mad at that. She's hurt. So she want him to feel the same hurt she's feeling because they're not together. So how do you make a man feel the same hurt you're feeling? By taking this child away from him. Because a lot of these women, when I watch paternity court, a lot of these women tell the man, "Oh, he's the father," and then when they're mad at him, they throw it in his face, "You're not the father." So it's like, am I the father or am I not the father? But yeah, in my friend's case, they broke up. She's being a better baby mama, not letting him see his child. And you know what's gonna happen, right? She's gonna need what? She's gonna need child support, and she's gonna use that to her advantage in court, because him not being in the picture, because she's not letting him in the picture, she's gonna use that to her advantage in court, and tell the judge that he hasn't been in his child's life for this amount of time. So Hugh says, "I knew someone who had a child and the mother lied for over 18 years that he wasn't the father. He's finally building a relationship with him." See, this is what I'm talking about. You can't be mad. You can't be mad at the person you got pregnant by. Tell them that they're not the father, and then when you're really struggling and need help, now you want to come and say, "Well, this is your child. I need help." But you told me he wasn't mine. And now 18 years have passed. When I could have built a relationship with my child, 18 years have passed, and now you need help from me? Nah. You know what I'm saying? Nah. That ain't right. That is not right. Ladies, if you get pregnant by a dude you're in a relationship with, it don't work out, the one thing to never do is keep him away from his child. Because you're gonna need him. Don't keep the child away from his family either. Because you're gonna need them. Because something may come up where you're gonna need a babysitter. And your own family may say, no, we can't do it. But you know whose family will say, yeah, they'll do it? His side of the family. Yep, his side of the family, because they want to bond with that child. Her boyfriend had to change her heart. Hugh says her boyfriend had to change her heart and told him to get a DNA test. So her new man is telling the old man to go get a DNA because this could be your son. Because he knew it wasn't. Mm. You got to stop this, ladies. If you with a dude and it don't work out, you get pregnant, let him know you pregnant. Say, look, we can get a DNA. Once the baby's born, we can get a DNA test to see if it's yours or not. To see if it's yours. Because, you know what I'm saying? Because 9 out of 10 is sometimes not the new man's baby. But because the way y'all ended y'all relationship, she's gonna want you to think it's the new man's baby because she don't want to deal with you. You don't have to deal with him. You understand what I'm saying? You, if you was close with any relative of his, like drop the baby off at his mother. He want to see the baby. You drop the baby off at his mother's house. He can pick the baby up from there to spend time with his child. You don't keep the child away from their father. Every child needs a father. Every child needs a mother. Just because y'all didn't work out doesn't mean he doesn't have a right to be a father. And if the courts, if y'all go to court and the court grants you 50-50 custody, then when it's his time to have the child, you let him have the child. When it's your time to have the child, then you know you're gonna have the child. Don't try to not let him have the child when it's his time to have the child. Because all you're doing is causing more problems. Because he's gonna take you to court and he's gonna have everything documented, and you're gonna wind up losing custody of your child because you playing games. I seen a video, it was a while back, where she, like I said, bit a baby mama. So they have joint custody. He gets her every other weekend. And so they meet up at the local police station to do the child exchange. And he came one time with his new chick, and his baby mother was mad at that he brought the new chick to come with him to pick up the baby. Yep, she was mad at that. Another time he picks up the child, they same meeting place. She see that, I think he got in a new car. She see that he got, like, he got a new car. So in her mind, he got money. What he's giving in child support in her mind is not enough. And because he got this nice new car, she think he got money. So what's she gonna do? Take him to court, get more child support. And ladies, what you don't understand when you do that, and if they ain't got it, the court send them to jail. So because he ain't got it, now he's sitting in jail until he pays the child support that's gonna get him out of jail. But if he's in jail, he can't work. He can't make money. Y'all don't think about that. You think about you. You're not thinking about your child in these type of situations. You're thinking about yourself. Like it didn't work out. We had the relationship was toxic, but out of this toxicity, we had a precious baby. But still, you want to be toxic, even though you got this precious baby with this person. You still want to be toxic. That's not good. And ladies, those of you who people say are better baby mamas, I'm saying this to you. I don't have kids, but I'm saying this to you. It what you're doing to keep him away is gonna backfire on you. Stop telling your kids that their father is no good. And the same thing go for you men who get custody of your child because she's done something and they gave you custody. Now she's trying to be a better parent. Don't go bad mouthing the other parent. Never bad mouth the other parent to your child. Because a lot of you women bad mouth the father of your child and you bad mouth them with lies. And when the truth comes out, now your child is, doesn't want anything to do with you. A woman did that. She bad mouthed to her child about his father. When the truth came out, the child didn't want to be with her no more. The child wanted to live with his father. Because she's telling this child all the stuff that ain't true about the father. Because kids is like, why my dad don't want to see me. So the mother make up lies so that the kid would be mad at the father, not one so they could be mad at the father, not want to see the father. No, no, that's not good. Let your child make their own decisions about the other parent. Because if he really is what you want to call him, a deadbeat, let the child see it for themselves and make their own decision. Don't put false narratives into their head so that they believe in your false narratives. That ain't true. No, that's not right. That is not right to do that to the child. So yeah, so my friend's story is what made me want to talk about this subject. And plus, I've seen it. My brother's no longer here, but when he had his first child, his oldest, he was with the baby mama. They was together for a while, and for some reason it didn't work out. But he was still trying to be a father to the child, but she wouldn't let him. And the reason, one of the reasons why his lifestyle, you know what I'm saying, is some men, they're a man in the streets, and for some women who have children with men who are a man in the streets, they don't want their child around now, so they keep their child away from the father because he's in the streets, and especially if they're struggling. and you're not contributing financially, that's another reason they're keeping them away, is because he's not contributing financially. But you gotta understand, in this day and age, the way this economy is going right now, he's not gonna have much to give, because a lot of men say, well, she want this amount, that I don't have that. I can give something, but I can't give what she want. How if I give her, let's say, 2,000 a month for child support, how am I to survive? How am I gonna pay my rent, my bills? I could, by giving you 2,000 a month, I could wind up homeless. Giving you 2,000 a month in child support, I could wind up homeless. Right? You're already mad that he's not spending the quality time giving you any type of money, but you think taking him to court for child support and saying this is the amount you want, it's he gotta survive. Just like you need the money to take care of your child, he gotta survive. If he don't have a roof over his head, how he gonna give you child support? And ladies, the money you get for child support, it's for the child, it's not for you to go get your hair done. It's not for you to get your nails done. It's not for you to go to the mall and buy outfits for yourself. And there are women who take the child support and use it on themselves. They might get 2 or 3 outfits and a pair of shoes for their child, but the rest of the money they spend on themselves, getting their hair done, their nails done, buying outfits for themselves, going out to the club to go party. A lot of these women are doing that with the child support money. Yep, a lot of these women are doing that with the child support money. Yep. So I heard a story where the person said that whatever money for child support that the father was sending, the mother was taking it and putting it in that the mother was taking it and putting it like in a bank account, so that in he when he was in college, he said that money she would put in the bank account, so when he was in college he didn't have to call her to ask for money, because he had access to the bank account. So if he needed money, that was his money anyway from the child support, that she always gave the money to him or put it in the bank account that he could have access to. His mother never had access to it. And I said, you know what, I like that. Create a bank account for your child, put the child support money in that bank account for your child, and that your child, even though it's under your name, your child is the only one to have access to it, because your child is young, so they can't open a bank account. You have to open it for them. But this is good, and they'd be the only ones to have access to it. Or the other parent could create a trust where they put money in the trust, and when the child hits a certain age, that's when they get the money. So their child support money can go into a trust. So yeah, because it's hurtful when a man wants to be a father to his child, and you have to be a bitter baby mama and not let him. And you know what's crazy, y'all, is all this time you not letting him be a father. He gets into a new relationship, gets married, has children with the new woman, and he's being a great father to his kids, and you're mad at that. You mad at the fact that he didn't have more kids and now he's being a father to them, but not your child. And it's not his fault. You kept him away. You kept him away. But now you mad that he moved on, had more children, and is being a good father to the children he has with the new woman, and you're mad at that when you kept the child away? Yep, when you kept the child away, it's not his fault, it's your fault. And that's what's gonna happen. And I think of my friend's situation with her son. He's gonna move on. He's gonna find somebody. He's gonna find somebody. They're gonna be together for a while. He may even marry this person. They may have children. And she's gonna be mad because she's gonna be saying to herself, that could have been me. Yeah, it could have been you. You know, he wants to be a father. She's not letting him. And if he did move on and is in a new relationship, she's mad at that. Him being in a new relationship ain't got nothing to do with him wanting to be a father. Him being in a relationship is not stopping him from being a father. Men that want to be fathers is gonna work their hardest to be a father. Yep. They don't care if they gotta take you to court, they will take you to court so they can be a father. Because like I said in that court case, the judge was asking what has he done. She's telling the judge all the things he's done to her. The judge wants to know what he's done to the child for you not letting him see the child. She's telling the judge all the things he's done to her when they were in a relationship. Yep. Yep. So yeah, that's my topic on bitter baby mamas. And the song is called Bitter by Onyx G. And before the show is over, I'm gonna play that song again. But so I have so you know the third segment of the show is usually a what would you do question. But I think since we talked about bitter baby mamas, we talked about long term affairs period, right? This is my question to the guys to the men tuned in. What would you do if the woman you was with lied to you, told you she was pregnant, but was never pregnant, but but she does get pregnant? What would you do if the woman was with told you she was pregnant, it was yours, but come to find that she was never really pregnant, but then when you see her again, she's pregnant? What would you do in that situation? If she told you she was pregnant, but you come to find out she was never, at the time she told you she wasn't pregnant, but then when you saw her again, she was actually pregnant. What would you do? You're on mute.
I would let her have the baby, get a DNA test. If it's mine, we'll do what we need to do. If it ain't, I'm good.
I can answer in the chat because stuff like that happens where a person to lie and say they're pregnant by you and not really be pregnant by you, and when you see them, they actually pregnant, but it's not by you. You know, they tell you they're pregnant by you, but they're not really. Years, let me see. This is years ago. I was at a clinic, and the girl was there at the same clinic with a dude. She told this dude she was she was pregnant, and she told the dude she was pregnant, and I guess they had a discussion about, when you young, you ain't ready to be a parent. So what do? You tell the dude you messing with that you pregnant. He may suggest it, or y'all both should come to a conclusion of y'all not ready to be parents, so you to have an abortion. Back then, abortions was like 200. I think like maybe about $250 to have an abortion. If you went to a clinic that did it, it's about $250. She told the dude he was, that she was pregnant, and they made an appointment at the clinic to get the abortion. And so this clinic, so when you come in the clinic, there's seats, and then there's the window where you talk to reception and say I have an appointment. And then also attached to the reception is there's an office. So the girl's there with the guy. She gets called in to the office. I guess they do the test to see if she's pregnant. She's not pregnant. So they're in the office, and the nurses there are telling her she's not pregnant. And she's arguing with them, saying, "Yes, I am pregnant." Because she done brought dude there to the clinic with her so she can get an abortion. And if you on insurance, if you have insurance, your insurance, I guess back then insurance covered it. But this is a young girl telling the nurses that she is pregnant. They did the pregnancy test, she's not pregnant. But she kept saying she was pregnant because I guess she didn't want the guy to hear them telling her she ain't pregnant. Because I guess he was the one that was going to pay for the abortion. And so she's like, she's just sitting in she's sitting in that office, and they telling her she's not pregnant. And she's like, she's arguing them up and down. I'm pregnant. Because I guess she wanted the dude. I'm like, no, she didn't scam this dude out of money for an abortion, and she ain't even pregnant. I'm like, damn. And that's too. And he's young himself, so that tells you what type of job either one of them have, if they have a job at that. But 200, you scammed this dude out of $250, and you was never pregnant in the first place. Because before they do any type of procedure, they want to make sure that you're pregnant. And they did that test, came back, nope. Because back in those days, chicks were doing that. Especially if it was a young chick messing with an older dude, they would scam him out of money and say, I'm pregnant. And he, being that he's an older dude, she's young, he don't want to have a baby by this young chick. So he's gonna put the suggestion in her head to have the abortion. That's what she wants. She wants him to put that suggestion in her head because she ain't pregnant, but she's scamming him out of money. So she's letting him know, even though she ain't really pregnant, that she's pregnant, So she wants him to suggest her having an abortion. And then she goes along with it and have him pay for it. But she knows she's not pregnant. So, because it went from, because it used to be 250, then from, I think, from 250 to 500. An abortion went from 250 to 500. So, if this is a, this is a young chick, if she's scamming him, she's going to tell him, oh yeah, it costs 500 to get it done. He don't want her to have the child because she's young and he's older. You know that this it's not gonna. You know what I'm saying? People gonna look at him like I get it. You with her to have fun, but you having a baby by her. So as an older man, he don't want that. Or even a younger dude, he just loved having fun, but he wasn't expecting her to get pregnant. So that he's scrounging up 500, and she's playing him, having him thinking, you know, that she's pregnant and she's gonna have this abortion. And there's now with the technology we have now, you can fake papers to say that you had an abortion because they're gonna want to see it. The papers that say you had an abortion. So with the technology we have now, you can fake that. Back then, we didn't have that type of technology where you can fake it, fake paperwork to say you had that done. Yep. So yeah, these topics, watching, going through social media and seeing these videos. Sometimes these topics come to me from watching these clips on social media, and so it's like, yeah, this is something we could talk about because a lot of people go through these situations, and you hear various stories from different people about bitter baby mamas, people getting into having long term affairs. You hear a lot of stories about that. Because even with the long term with the affair situation, something a story came up where they said that the guy and the girl was in were having an affair. Basically she was the mistress, and she went and filed his divorce papers. The mistress went to the courthouse and filed um forged the guy's name on divorce papers and put it in the court for him to get a divorce from his wife. The mistress did all of that. Cause I'm sure she probably was hearing from him, I'm gonna leave her, I'm gonna divorce her. And she's probably heard it so many times and it hasn't happened yet. That that she took it upon herself. It's like he keeps saying he gonna divorce her, but he ain't do it. I'ma do it, and forged his signature on the paperwork for him to divorce his wife. And I get it. I get it. If you and the woman is separated, you and your wife is separated. She's moved on, and I get it. It costs money that you don't have to file for a divorce. That's why there's people who are still married and haven't divorced yet, even though they moved on with their lives. But I'm going to say this to you women out there, you are never going to completely have a man who's still attached to someone else. I don't care how much he said he's moved on. You're never completely gonna have a man or a woman who's still attached to someone else. If she's still married, and they haven't got a divorce, or he's still married, haven't got a divorce, you're not completely. I don't care how long you've been with him or going to be with him. You're never going to completely have him. Because there are women out there who want to get married. So if he still hasn't gotten a divorce, you will never be able to marry. You will never be able to marry him because he's still married. So if he really wants to be with you, if you the one he's saying he really wants to be with, he don't want to be with his wife. You tell him I can't be with you until you are officially divorced from your wife. If we are meant to be, then we will come back to each other. But I can't be with you until you are officially divorced from your wife. But some of these women are hard headed. They let themselves fall too deep to where they can't let it go. So they done been with the man for so long that they don't care anymore if he gets a divorce or not. They don't care or not. Yeah, so that is it for tonight's show, y'all. We're gonna play Bitter one more time, and then we're gonna end the show. So play Bitter one more time so that we can end the show.
We were together for a while, but before we let it go, we had our precious baby. We tried to work it out, but the foundation kept crumbling, and now here we are fighting about. When I can see my baby, you were the one for me. But now you're my bitter baby mama. Please let me see my kid. Yeah. You ain't gonna turn me into a deadbeat father. I wanna be there for my kid. So stop being a bitter baby mama. No, just cause we didn't work out doesn't mean I would neglect my kid. The only reason why you're bitter is because you can't have me no more. And now our child is suffering, all because you wanna be a bitter baby mama. Oh, yeah. You were the one for me, but now you're my bitter baby mama. Please let me see my kid. Oh, you ain't gonna turn me into a deadbeat father. I wanna be there for my kid. So stop being a bitter baby mama. I had so much love for you, but now I can't stand you. All because you became someone I don't even know. This ain't who you are. And you got my baby in the middle. You were the one for me, Lord, baby. Now you're my bitter baby mama. Please let me see my kid. Oh, you ain't gonna turn me. You ain't gonna turn me into a deadbeat father. I wanna be there for my kid. So stop being bitter baby mama. I know there are some fellas out there who can relate. Got that bitter baby mama. But you still make the effort to be a daddy to your kid. I salute you, kid. You are the one for me. For me. Now you're my bitter baby mama. Please let me see my kid. You, yeah. You are the one turn me. You ain't gonna turn me to a deadbeat father. I'm gonna be there for my kid. So stop being a bitter baby mama. I'm no deadbeat. I just wanna be a father. Stop being a bitter baby mama. Our baby needs to know who I am.
Yes, that was Bitter by Honest G. So I'm sure you can relate. I'm sure there's some men out there who can relate. So that is it for tonight's show. Next Sunday we have two more great topics. During the week, I'll be posting about what the topics will be, so you will know ahead of time. So for those, when you see the topics, you can participate. And won't some depending on what the topic is, might be another song attached to one of the topics. Because my brain gets creative that way. So depending on what the topic is, could be another song attached to one of the topics. But that is it for Speaking Freely. I appreciate y'all as always as tuning in. And if there's a topic you want me to discuss, you always hit me up on Facebook at Road to Stardom. Right? Road to Stardom on Facebook. Or Road to Stardom Radio on Facebook. You hit me in the inbox on there. Tell me your topic. If it's a good topic, we could definitely discuss it for Sunday. You know, if you have a story that you think would be good to share, that fits, a topic, and you have a story to go along with the topic, you could send me that as well, and I would share the story that goes along with the topic. Yep. So I will see y'all I'll see you next Sunday for another Speaker Freely. But this Tuesday, is the indie experience. And I'm going to have some great music for y'all. Or be it my own or somebody else's. Or we may have a guest. I'm still waiting for. I'm trying to secure a guest. I'm still waiting for the feedback from the guests to see if they will be able to do the show. And if they can, this Tuesday we'll have a guest. They are, I guess you could say, kind of country rock. think this band is like a country rock. Um, but if I do have a guest, I will be posting about that as well for Tuesday's show. But I will see y'all. Till then, peace, one love, everybody. We out of here. E.